Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. There is a God. So good morning, and let me say to you, happy Black History Month, and more importantly, happy Founders Day. To our servant leader, President Ronald Mason Jr., our trusted advocates, members of the Board of Trustees, elected officials, members of the President's Cabinet, members of Dean's Council, friends, special guests, alumni, emeriti, students, faculty, staff, and those watching from around the world via live stream. I'm Lawrence Potter Jr., and it gives me great pleasure as the university's Chief Academic Officer to welcome each of you to Founders Day 2023 here at the University of the District of Columbia. Founders Day is an opportunity for us to pay homage, look back like the Sankofa bird, imagine the possibilities, and bring our community, supporters, and stakeholders together to praise the accomplishments of today's award recipients and to lift up our glorious UDC. This moment allows us to consider our aspirations over the years, reflect on 47 years of growth, grit, and greatness, celebrate all we have achieved together, and aspire yet again, because success is never final. This year's theme, Our Path Forward, Pride, Progress, Promise, captures the essence of where we stand as an institution. It gives us a chance to reflect on our growth, where we are today, and our aspirations for the future. We are not yet done because success is never final. We are now building on the foundations created by our predecessor institutions, which created this university, the University of the District of Columbia, UDC. Uniquely designed as a commitment to educate the citizens of the District of Columbia, our nation, and the world. Uniquely designed as a commitment to further social justice education. Uniquely designed as a commitment to eradicate injustices and to promote equity. Uniquely designed to be the model of urban student success. Uniquely designed as a commitment to be the people's university, in, of, and for the nation's capital. Uniquely designed as a commitment to bolster our pride, our progress, and the promise of our students, faculty, staff, alumni, and community partners. Welcome to Founders Day 2023. Please rise for the posting of the colors and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the Star-Spangled Banner and the invocation.
So proudly at the twilight's last gleam.
What a marvelous rendering of the Star-Spangled Banner. I'm sure there's at least one member in Congress who perhaps finds that to be threatening to them, but that person does not know UDC. Good morning, Firebird Nation. Let us pray. We call on you who has always been and will always be, the one who is greater than ourselves and the power that is within ourselves, that reminds us that we ought always consider someone other than ourselves. And that's the only reason to look down on someone is to lift them up. We thank you for President Ronald Mason, the best university president in the world, at the best university in the world, in the best city in the world. Now, Lord, comfort us in our grief and denial, but strengthen him as he prepares for well-deserved rest from the rigors of building and leading a world-class institution. We thank you for the vision of Martilla Minor and the refusal to give up on a dream even when others questioned it. We thank you for the faithful members of the Board of Trustees, the dedicated professors, the amazing administrators, and essential staff. We give thanks for their motivation of mission over money. We thank you for each and every student who carry the baton as they pursue their own dreams and live their own truth on their own path. We pray that they pass not only each and every course, but they also pass financial aid. The math that they need to know is that hard work plus determination does equal success. We thank you for the inspiration of Juliana Adamu, the leadership of UDC's best spokesperson, Bernard Grayson, and future Supreme Court Justice Sadie Clark. I thank you for the fire inside of Salim Adolfo. They remind us that the graduates of our UDC will be future educators, nurses, business persons, activists, justice system workers, governors, and senators of Washington Douglas Commonwealth. And we give thanks for Dr. LaQuandra Nesbitt and her leadership through the pandemic. She is not our Dr. Fauci, she is our Dr. Nesbitt. When they mention the great universities and centers of education in the world and fail to mention the University of District of Columbia, forgive them, miss us with that. Let the students, faculty, and staff continue to allow their achievements and successes to speak for them, as measured by W.E.B. Du Bois, who said that success is not measured by the position that one has obtained in life, but the obstacles that one has overcome in trying to succeed. The hymn writer put it best: I'm so glad that I go to UDC, singing Glory, Hallelujah, I'm so glad. We ask that you continue to bless Firebird Nation, for in doing so, you will have blessed our city and blessed our world. We ask this in the sweet name of the one who Grandma calls on and the many wonderful names that our neighbors call on. That and those names. Amen, Ashe, and boom.
You may now be seated. We will have greetings on behalf of the Board of Trustees, the Faculty Senate, and our student government leaders as printed in the program. Please welcome to the podium Chairman of the Board of Trustees, Christopher Bell.
Thank you. Good morning, UDC family. How's everyone today? Good, good. I just want to say that was a beautiful rendition of the national anthem. It was just stunning. Beautiful, beautiful. And that was a powerful prayer. Powerful prayer. Thank you for your blessings. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Christopher Bell, and I'm the very proud chair of the board of the trustees of the University of the District of Columbia. And before I give my greetings, I want to give a shout out and recognition to my fellow trustees here. Trustees, can you please stand? I can't see everyone. Dr. Tard, Jerome Shelton, Carolyn Rudd, Schwartz, Trustee Scott, Antoinette Wright-Richardson, thank you so much for being here. Very proud and thankful for your service on the board. Thank you. On behalf of the University of the District of Columbia's Board of Trustees, I am delighted to welcome you to join us as we celebrate UDC's Founders Day Celebration and Awards Program. When abolitionist Myrtilla Minor launched a small school for colored girls in our strictly segregated nation's capital, she set a marginalized community on the path to greatness as we educate critical thinkers, creative problem solvers, communicators, and skilled transformative leaders. This school blossomed and grew over the years, merging with the Technical Institute, a teacher's college, and a law school along the way, ultimately becoming the only public higher education institution in Washington, D.C. Talk about pride, progress, and promise. We wish to give at this time a special thanks to President Mason on his final Founders Day event as president of UDC. We wish him well, much success, and we are glad to know that he will continue his work with the university at the David A. Clark School of Law. President Mason, thank you for all that you've done, your heart, your patience, your dedication to this university. It's truly appreciated. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Greetings and good morning, everyone. I'm Andrea Adams. I'm the acting chair of the Faculty Senate. Greetings to President Mason, Chairman Bell, CEO Potter, Board of Trustees, and all guests. This past Friday, the Faculty Senate celebrated Black History Month, looking at the heritage of African Americans that influenced the nation and those that influence our journey here at UDC. We reminded ourselves that we are making the history, the her story, and the they story of this generation. Today, we celebrate the scaffolding on which we build. As an HBCU, we must continue to be the model for equality, inclusion, and equity. Since we are planted in the nation's capital, UDC is a lampstand for shining the light of our students, faculty, administrators, stakeholders, and community. We ask that our God continue to let his light shine upon us as we share his light as the light of the Firebird. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Brent Thigpen. I serve as the undergrad student body president for the 2022 to 2023 school year. And actually, as a Maryland native, I'm proud to serve as the undergrad student body government president for this year at the 17th ranked HBCU. Come on, let's give a round of applause for that. Thank you. 17th rank, that's pretty good. Also, I'm a junior mechanical engineering major from Waldorf, Maryland, and I am blessed to be here this Founders Day as we celebrate our founding look towards the future. I look forward to helping the university move forward and make sure we all have pride, promise, and progress to make sure the university is a great institution for all students and faculty. Thank you so much.
Good morning, Firebirds. I am Chanel Hibbert, and I serve as the Graduate Student Government President for the academic year 2022 to 2023. It's an absolute pleasure to see you all gathered here today to celebrate yet another tremendous milestone and legacy of this university that we call the University of the District of Columbia. And today, I implore you all to continue to support the university's visions in providing the highest quality education for all individuals. So happy Founders Day, enjoy Founders Day, and cheers to 172 years of greatness.
Greetings, my UDC family. My name is Naja Basfield, and I'm a fourth-year evening student at the David A. Clark School of Law. First, as its president, I would like to acknowledge the UDC faculty, the staff, the students, and most of all, the leadership. Second, I would like to acknowledge our founders. And because of them, they independently and selfishly charted a law school to make a path for minority students. Because of them, we have a scholastic venue to practice law, but also advance in our professional arenas. Our present and future successes are the consequences of the founders' decision to remedy systemic racism and pave the way to build this phenomenal institution. And lastly, because of our founders, each law student has a path forward, and we will practice law with pride, we will maintain progress, and never forget the promise that we made to ourselves. Thank you.
Please rise for the singing of the Negro National Anthem. Lift every voice and sing.
Sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise out as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the hope that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us, facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Stony the road we trod, we took the trusting road, took the days
Sing a song, sing a song, sing a song, sing a song, sing a song. We have come, oh we have come, oh wave that the tears have been watered, oh we have come, treading a path through the blood of the slaughtered, out of the gloom we passed, till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of a bright star is cast. Thou hast brought keep us forever in the path we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadow beneath thy hand, may we forever stand true to our God, true to our native land. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, under the direction of Johnny Butler and accompanist Evelyn Simpson Currington, please give the UDC Chorale another round of applause. As they take their seats, serendipity has a way of working things out. We thought this year that we would focus on really identifying an alumnus who has a national platform. And our speaker today has a national platform. But also, we thought that it would be really beneficial to have someone who is walking in the shoes that that alumni walked in years ago. And so to introduce our keynote speaker today, we have a third semester nursing student, Miss Javay Ingle-King Scott, to introduce our speaker.
Good morning, everyone, and I would also like to welcome you to UDC's Founders Day. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our distinguished keynote speaker, Chief Executive Officer Deneen Richmond, who once stood here as a student attending our excellent nursing program at the University of the District of Columbia. She is a firebird. When I was asked to introduce such an amazing woman of virtue and inspiration, it overwhelmed me with joy. Ms. Richmond graduated from UDC with a bachelor's degree in nursing in 1986, and then on to receive her master's degree in health administration from George Washington University in 1992. She is no stranger to hard work and dedication. Because of her commitment to excellence in our profession, she became the president of Luminous Health Doctors Community Medical Center in 2020 in the midst of a global pandemic. She is now one of a few African-American female hospital CEOs in the country. In her brief biography, she stated, and I quote, "UDC prepared me well. It solidified and served as an important launching of my interests and passions and prepared me as I started my professional career. We are so fortunate that she found a way to be with us today despite her hectic schedule. Ms. Richmond's dedication shows her outstanding qualities to serve her community. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming one of UDC's own, Ms. Deneen Richmond, to the stage. You're welcome.
Oh my goodness, it is so good to be here. Good morning, Firebird Nation. All right. So, let me just start by saying to the students, President Mason, trustees, faculty, staff, and alumni, as well as elected officials, dignitaries, special guests, and friends of UDC who have joined us to reflect and celebrate Founders Day. I am honored and humbled to be with you this morning. And I also have to definitely give a special shout out to all of the UDC nursing students. I see you over there. I also brought my own special guest, my husband, Victor Richmond, who has been by my side and supporting me since we met over 30 years ago. So that's important to me as well. Before I move on, you may have noted that I acknowledged the students first, and that was intentional. Without the students, there would not be a need for any of the rest of us. They are the heartbeat of this institution, and it's important for us to always remember that. It really feels so good to be back on campus this morning and in the company of so many amazing people. I proudly credit the University of the District of Columbia for the foundation that allowed me to spread my wings and launch my healthcare career in 1986 when I graduated with my bachelor's in nursing. This is home in so many ways, as I was born in Washington, D.C., became a resident of gorgeous Prince George's County from a very young age, and I have been blessed to spend my entire healthcare career in the DMV. As you know, this year's Founders Day theme is Our Path Forward, Pride, Progress, and Promise. As I break this down, the first part, Our Path Forward, really resonates with me because I have always thought of my personal and professional life as a journey that's had twists and turns, but it's been my journey to shape, mold, and define. As you reflect on your life journey, I think it's important to have bold aspirations. Think about the bold aspirations of Matilda Minor when she established the Minor School for Colored Girls in 1851 with a determination that every child in the District of Columbia deserved a quality education regardless of race, creed, or class. Think about the bold aspirations of the fierce advocates who fought for a comprehensive university in Washington, D.C., ultimately consolidating the Minor Normal School, Federal City College, and Washington Technical Institute into what we now know today as the University of the District of Columbia. And reflect for a moment on the bold aspirations of UDC's vision that all students will achieve their highest levels of human potential. And I absolutely love the university's motto of aspire, accomplish, take on the world. Not the city, not the country, take on the world. Our bold aspirations shape our paths forward. I've always had bold aspirations, but I will admit that I never imagined back in the day that I would have the honor of being the president of Luminous Health Doctors Community Medical Center in Lanham, right in Prince George's County. I'm proud to be one of a few women of color running a hospital. But it's also sad that women of color account for only about 5% of hospital CEOs in the United States. We must change this statistic. I know our UDC students and alumni can change this statistic and leverage their foundation and education at UDC to do bold things in healthcare in every industry. That's what our Firebird Nation is all about. I'm so grateful to wake up every day and serve my team of over 1,000 employees, over 600 medical staff, and most importantly, the community that we are privileged to serve. Just as I stated earlier that the students are the most important group here today, the community and the patients we serve are the most important people to me in my role as the president of Luminous Health Doctors Community Medical Center. Without our community and our patients, there wouldn't be a need for us. So let's keep looking at our theme. Next up is pride. Some people may think of pride as being boastful or conceited, but that's not how I view pride. The definition of pride that resonates with me is a feeling of pleasure or satisfaction that is derived from one's own achievements, the achievements of those with whom one is closely associated, or from qualities and possessions that are widely admired. I'm proud that I'm a UDC graduate. I'm proud of my fellow nursing students who were my support circle, including Janine Carter, Lisa Banks-Williams, and Nina Winston, and all of their personal and professional accomplishments. I'm proud of my nursing professors who always believed in me, including Professor Elmira Asanwed and Professor Gloria Green-Whitley. I'm proud of my parents, John Twyman III and Waithia Johnson Knight, both now deceased, but who overcame the barriers of being teenage parents and always stressed the importance of education, as well as the importance of being decent human beings. I have so many life lessons that were imparted to me over the years while I was blessed to have them on this earth that still guide my life today. I am proud of the accomplishments I have achieved over this past year, including being named a Woman Who Means Business by the Washington Business Journal, a 2022 Distinguished Healthcare Leader by the Washington, D.C. chapter of the National Association of Health Services Executives, known as NACI, and being named a 2022 Firebird on Fire by the University of the District of Columbia National Alumni Society. Thank you. You know, I used to downplay my accomplishments before I better understood the real definition of pride that I shared a few minutes ago. Then I realized that my accomplishments can inspire someone else. My accomplishments are because of the people who have invested and believed in me. My accomplishments are a reflection of those who have shaped my path, my life journey, and thus I should be proud. So I ask you to reflect. What are you proud of? What achievements or milestones have you and others who you admire achieved? And we can all be proud of the wonderful accomplishments of this distinguished institution that we dearly love. So let's keep going. Next on our path forward is progress. It's mind-boggling when I think about the progress UDC has made from its beginnings in 1851 all the way to today. I'm blown away by the progress that has been made on this Van Ness campus since I graduated way back, yes, way back, in 1986. As we reflect on February being Black History Month, let me first say that our heritage is too rich to only be acknowledged in the month of February. Let's all commit to celebrating our rich heritage 365 days a year. I'm awed by the progress that Black people and other people of color have made in spite of the drumbeat of racism and discrimination that unfortunately continues to plague our lives. We had our first Black president, President Barack Obama, and his lovely family, who served 2 terms without the scandals that are constantly being uncovered about some of our other recent presidents. In Maryland, we just elected our first Black governor. Yes, Governor Wes Moore, who's also only the 3rd Black governor in the entire United States. Back to pride and Governor Wes Moore, I was proud to be asked to serve as a member of the Healthcare Policy Committee for the Moore-Miller Transition Team. All of this speaks to progress, but also speaks to the work we have yet to do. In 2023, we shouldn't still have to speak in terms of the first or one of few, like me being one of a very few female Black hospital presidents. Let's claim our rightful places and show the world how powerful our Firebird Nation is. So let's move on to the last part of this year's Founders Day theme, promise. For promise, I want us to reflect on the promises that we need to make to those who are coming behind us. One promise that I have publicly committed to is addressing healthcare disparities and inequities, something I'm very, very passionate about. Despite spending more on healthcare than any other developed country, we have not achieved health equity in the DMV nor across the United States. Significant disparities in a broad number of health outcomes, including maternal mortality and premature deaths due to preventable conditions, have been an unfortunate reality for years, and in some cases have even gotten worse in more recent times. Let me share a little of our local landscape with you so that everyone can appreciate the promises we need to make to address this in our own backyard. So listen to this. In 2020, Dr. Christopher King, who's now Dean of the School of Health at Georgetown University and someone I deeply admire, published Health Disparities in the Black Community, an imperative for racial equity in the District of Columbia. In one part of this report, he contrasted Ward 8, east of the river, with Ward 3 in Upper Northwest. Let's look at some of the startling disparities that he shared. The median income in Ward 8 is $50,000 compared to $190,000 in Ward 3, almost 4 times higher. Only 7% of residents in Ward 8 have a graduate degree compared to 57% in Ward 3, 8 times higher. Life expectancy in Ward 8 is 72 years compared to 88 years in Ward 8. People just a few miles apart have a difference in life expectancy of 16 years, just based on where they live. As I and others point out, there's a problem when your zip code, not your genetic code, determines how long you will live. When we look at cancer, the death rate due to cancer is 2.5 times higher in Ward 8 than in Ward 3. The death rate due to heart disease is more than 4 times higher in Ward 8 than in Ward 3, and the infant mortality rate is more than 6 times higher in Ward 8 than in Ward 3. These disparities don't just exist in Washington, D.C. Similar disparities exist in Prince George's County and in every county, city, and state across the United States. We also know that this isn't just about income levels and social determinants. This past Sunday, one of the New York Times headlines was, "Childbirth is deadlier for Black families, even when they're rich." This report was based on a study published last month by the National Bureau of Economic Research that looked at 2 million California births and found that the richest Black mothers and their babies were twice as likely to die as the richest white mothers and their babies. And poor Black moms and babies have even worse outcomes. These are health outcomes that are happening today, representing nothing but racism. Not only have we had to deal with the pandemic for the last 3 years, but we've also seen social injustice, racism, and political unrest rear its ugly head. Everyone deserves a fair and just opportunity to be healthier, regardless of race, ethnicity, income, geographic location, and other demographic characteristics. We have to remove obstacles such as poverty, discrimination, lack of access to good jobs, and safe neighborhoods, and provide everyone with a quality education that allows them to reach their full potential. I'm proud of the role that UDC is playing to educate the next generation of health professionals in producing a well-qualified workforce in all fields. Individually and collectively, I ask that we all promise not just to talk about, but to take action to eradicate these horrible health disparities and inequities. I've made this promise, and I'm taking actions to address it every day, from hiring a diverse workforce at all levels that reflects the community we serve, to taking steps to increase our supplier spend on minority and locally owned businesses, to opening a state-of-the-art behavioral health facility last fall so that we can address the stigma of mental health in our communities and provide access to needed services close to home, to now embarking on a $300 million campaign to bring obstetrical services and other campus enhancements to my Lanham campus. As I wrap up, I want to share a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. when he spoke at the convention of the Medical Committee for Human Rights held in Chicago in March of 1966. He declared, "Of all of the forms of inequality, injustice in healthcare is the most shocking and inhumane." Sadly, this statement is still true today, over 56 years later. Healthcare organizations, our educational institutions like UDC, our business community, local, state, and federal governments, all of us have an obligation to our communities to drive toward more equitable health outcomes and to go beyond health outcomes because we see these same disparities in many aspects of our lives. Let us all be a living legacy for our beloved university, the University of the District of Columbia, as we continue to shape our path forward with pride, progress, and promise. Firebird excellence is alive and well. Thank you so much.
Ms. Richmond, on behalf of the University of the District of Columbia, your alma mater, we'd like to present you with a small token of appreciation.
Thank you so much.
At this point in the program, we'd now like to turn our attention to the presentation of the Founders Day Awards. And we will begin the award ceremony with our student awards to be presented by Dr. Trelonda Beckett-Jones.
Thank you, Dr. Potter. Good morning. The Student Humanitarian and Civic Engagement Award is presented annually at UDC's Founders Day celebration. It is awarded to students who have demonstrated a commitment to activism, social responsibility, civic participation, and advocacy for the welfare and the betterment of the University of the District of Columbia and the greater community. It is indeed my honor and pleasure to announce this year's award recipients. Please join me in congratulating them as they are called to the stage. A full bio sketch of all of our award recipients is printed in your program. A Nigerian-born and U.S. immigrant, Juliana Adewumi is a final year nursing student at the UDC Community College. Through her love for service, Juliana has dedicated over 500 hours volunteering at the university and local communities. When asked how her community activism is related to her intended profession of becoming a registered nurse after graduation, Juliana stated, "My very drive is serving others. Service is the lifeblood of a great nurse." Please help me congratulate and welcome Juliana Adewumi. A tenant organizer and community advocate. Salim Adolfo is a senior political science major at the flagship campus. He has provided legal support and emergency rental assistance to over 800 families due to their loss of income as a result of the pandemic. A member of the United States Army, Salim currently serves on the boards of the United Planning Organization, the National Society of Black Engineers, chairperson of the Advisory Neighborhood Commission, 8C. Please welcome and congratulate with me, Mr. Salim Adolfo. The recently named finalist and internship recipient in the 2023 HBCU in LA internship, sponsored by the Entertainment Industry College Outcome Program, Sharday Clark is a third-year evening student at the UDC David A. Clark School of Law. She serves UDC through leadership roles focused on healing and mental wellness for the legal community. With the goal of becoming a patent attorney for the Walt Disney Company, Sharday hopes to serve her community by protecting creative development and positivity through her future career prospects. Please help me congratulate Sharday Clark. Thank you very much.
Please welcome Vice President Rodney Trapp for the presentation of the Distinguished Alumni Awards as well as our Pathmaker Awards.
Good morning. The Pathmaker Award is presented annually at the UDC's Founders Day celebration and is awarded to an alumnus and current and former employee of the university. The awardees have consistently supported the university and its students through their strong commitment to philanthropy. The 2023 Staff Pathmaker Award goes to Dr. William Howard Jones. Dr. Jones had a distinguished 40-year career at UDC that began at UDC's legendary predecessor school, Federal City College. He served as the professor of mathematics in the College of Arts and Sciences and eventually the Cass Assistant Dean. For over 16 years, Dr. Jones made over 34 contributions to the UDC Foundation. His most favorite causes were the Cass Dean's Opportunity Fund and the Jazz Lab Band Ensemble. Sadly, we lost Dr. Jones last spring. This morning, we have his spouse, Mrs. Buran Kasey Jones, here to accept the Pathmaker Award in his honor. The 2023 Alumni Pathmaker Award goes to Mr. Eddie Baker. Mr. Baker is a native of Washington, D.C., and graduated from UDC in 1980 with an associate degree in accounting. He has been a loyal supporter of the foundation since 2012, supporting the Jazz Ensemble, the Community College, general scholarships, alumni engagement, Student Assistance Fund, and the UDC Fund. Dr. Eddie Baker, or Mr. Eddie Baker, apologies. The The Distinguished Alumni Legacy Award is presented annually to an alumnus who has been a member of the UDC National Alumni Society for over 5 years and who has demonstrated extraordinary participation in the association through the contributions to the Alumni Society, including increasing membership participation, enhancing the image of the association, showing professional ethics of the highest caliber, and engaging in the community. The 2023 Distinguished Alumni Legacy Award is awarded this year to Mr. Bernard Grayson, Jr. Mr. Grayson is a native Washingtonian who holds 4 degrees from UDC, 2 associate degrees in applied sciences, and 2 bachelor degrees in business administration. As a proud Firebird, Mr. Grayson has represented the university in various occasions and is one of UDC's staunchest advocates. He is a lifetime member of the University of the District of Columbia National Alumni Society, where he has been a member since 2003. He served as Sergeant of Arms from 2014 to 2022 and is currently the UDC NAS National President. Congratulations.
Happy Founders Day, Firebird Nation. Hi, I am Malva Daniel Reed. I'm the Assistant Chief Academic Officer for Graduate and Online Education and Academic Partnerships. It is my pleasure and honor to be able to present the recipients of the University Awards. But before I do that, I want to really let you know that the recipients that are going to come before you today go beyond the call of duty every day at the university and also locally, nationally, and internationally. These women, they're all women, actually they don't know what an 8-hour workday is. It's like maybe a 12, 15, 20-hour workday. And it's not only what they do for themselves, but what they do for the students here. So it gives me great pleasure to announce our recipients for the University Awards. The Distinguished Educator Award is named for the Honorable Marjorie Holloman Parker, class of 36. It is presented annually at the UDC's Founders Day celebration to an individual whose laudable contributions as an educator have made a discernible difference in the city or nation's schools, colleges, universities, and private institutions. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the Distinguished Educator Award goes to Dr. Matilda Maddie Knight. Dr. Knight is an associate professor of biology in the School of College of Arts and Science at UDC and an adjunct professor in the Department of Microbiology, Immunology, and Tropical Diseases at the University of George Washington University. Her full bio can be seen in our program. She has over 100 publications, not just for herself, but with students. So please join me in honoring our Distinguished Educator Award recipient, Dr. Maddie Knight, Associate Professor of Biology. The Distinguished Service Award is named for former Washington Technical Institute President Cleveland L. Dennard. It is presented annually at UDC's Founders Day celebration to an individual who has demonstrated a long-term commitment to the university's outstanding service. Please join me in welcoming this Distinguished Service Award goes to Denise Bludso Slaughter. Ms. Slaughter has been the Special Assistant to CAO since 2009. As you know, she works tirelessly for us over and over to make sure we represent our best selves. So please join me in honoring our Distinguished Service Award recipient, Ms. Denise Bludso Slaughter. I can't believe Denise has been quieted. Oh my goodness. Okay, the Distinguished Leadership Award is named for the Honorable Ronald H. Brown. It is presented annually at UDC's Founders Day celebration to an individual who has demonstrated outstanding leadership in their profession and whose work has contributed to improving one's community and its citizens on a local, national, international level, and must be employed for 5 years here. The Distinguished Leadership Award goes to Dr. Sabine O'Hara. Dr. Sabine O'Hara is a teacher, mentor, researcher, administrator. She's well known nationally, locally for all that she does. And I know personally the number of hours that she actually puts in to be the director of our Urban Leadership and Entrepreneurship PhD program. And she was a previous Dean of Causes. So thank you so much for all your service. All right, so I want you to hear the number I'm getting ready to say. The Lifetime Achievement Award is named for the former District of Columbia Teachers President, Paul Phillips Cook, class of 37. It is presented annually at UDC's Founders Day celebration to a University of the District of Columbia faculty or staff member who has constantly demonstrated exceptional loyalty, extraordinary commitment, dedication, and service to advancement of goals and objectives. The Lifetime Achievement Award goes to Dr. Carolyn Kuzan, who has been at the university for 52 years. Please. She is a full professor of the College of Arts and Science and an adjunct professor of oncology and the Lombardi Comprehensive Cancer Society. Please let's give her a round of applause for our Lifetime Achievement Award recipient, Dr. Carolyn Kuzan.
Good afternoon, Firebirds. So it's my privilege and honor to present the Myrtilla Minor Award, which is presented by the President every year to someone who has made a significant contribution to the district, to the region, and to the nation. I'm especially going to enjoy this introduction of Dr. Nesbitt, because if anybody who knows her knows that when she has a mind to, she can hold court. And so to have an opportunity to talk about her is really a rare privilege. We came to the district about the same time, 8 years ago, and she was one of the first people that I met who shared a role on the mayor's cabinet with me. And I noticed two things about her in that first meeting. One, we had a lot of fun, and she could hold her wine a lot better than I could. But the other thing I remember thinking is, man, what a smart person and a rare talent. And I've been watching her for the last 8 years be a trusted voice on the mayor's cabinet, not only on matters of health, but also on equity and generally a trusted advisor on how to govern well. But when she really rose to the surface was when she was called on to lead the district through the COVID pandemic. And you heard the Reverend say it, but Dr. Fauci ain't got nothing on Dr. Nesbitt, trust me. And it wasn't only her command of the data and of the, the science behind the health, but it was her ability to communicate the information in a confident, calm, assuring way that I think helped the district navigate that pandemic better than any other jurisdiction in the country. And because we are the nation's capital and the eyes were upon us, I do believe that it was a help to the nation as a whole. And so I have a lot of respect for this, I'd say young doctor, because I am retiring. And she's at George Washington now, George Washington School of Medicine. But I'm sure that she's going to still play a great hand in the future of this district, wherever she is. And as evidence of that, despite her new job, she's also co-chairing the mayor's transition team. So it is my real privilege and honor to introduce a star who is going to continue to rise, Dr. Nesbitt.
Well, good morning, everyone. It is truly, indeed, an honor and a pleasure and a privilege to be with you all so much here on your Founders Day at UDC. I'm now, I guess, officially a Firebird, since I have the opportunity to put something from the Firebirds from their Founders Day in my office at the campus of GW. I'm no stranger to this campus. We use this building quite a bit. When I was at the health department during Mayor Bowser's administration, I mean, she's now in her historic third term. I left, she kept going. And when I met with Denise, or had a call with Denise, I said, please tell me exactly where I'm going. The numbers are not on the buildings on the outside for people who are not here every day. But it has truly been a tremendous honor and a pleasure to have been in partnership with President Mason during his time here. And it was an honor of my lifetime to have served the District of Columbia. Not only during the COVID pandemic, but during those entire nearly 8 years, 7 years and 7 months, to be very specific. And the reason why it was an honor for me is that as I have really had the time to reflect, and you think about the values that you have as a person, like what drives you to make the decisions that you make. And as students, you will find yourself in that place often. Even as students who have selected a career, right? You're here studying to do something, and people will ask you why you do or have chosen the profession that you have chosen. As you grow, you'll really recognize that they are centered around your values. And for me, I have really recognized that my values are really about being of service to people, right? So every day when I woke up and people were like, how are you able to do this? I recognized that it was because I'm driven to be of service to people. I really have to make my decisions on a daily basis to say, how can I best be of service to people? What am I doing today that is going to make somebody's life better? How can I make a choice that will make a person who is in a very bad position be in a better position by the end of the day? How is it that a family that has to make tough choices, I can make those tough choices easier for them? So, when you figure out what your values are, what your core values are, many people, your core values are not money, how much money you can make. You can make a lot of money and be a very miserable person, but you can be driven by your values and make good money. So I think that you really, once you find out what your core values are, and if your core values are service, you will be a very happy nurse serving people. And if you are in service of people as a nurse, you will take very good care of people, and their families will be happy, your patients will be happy, your patients will be safer people if you are driven by service. So it's a huge honor for me to have been recognized of having made great contributions to the district, not only the district, but the region, and have made an impact on our nation, leading through a very tough time. Hopefully one that our country and our world will never see the likes of again, with good prayers that will never happen again, but being recognized for having such leadership. So I thank you for your leadership at the university. We could not have had the outcomes we had if our people would not have followed what we were saying and asking for. So I thank all of you for your tremendous courage and for your confidence in our leadership during that time, but more importantly, allowing my values of service to come through and to be recognized. So thank you all so much, and go Firebirds.
Thank you, Dr. Nesbitt. We have a very, very special award that we're going to present this year, and it is one that is rare. We don't present this award very often, but once upon a time in a lifetime, there are individuals that meet the bar, exceed the bar. And so it's called the Faithful Firebird Award. It is presented to an individual whose work has demonstrated exceptional service and commitment to the betterment of Team UDC. And we have a good friend of the university who will make some remarks, and then we will present this award. Will Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton please come to the podium?
Thank you. Thank you so very much. I am honored to join you today on UDC's Founders Day to recognize Ronald Mason Jr. To recognize him for his exceptional commitment and outstanding service to UDC and the District of Columbia during his 8 years as UDC's president. Over the course of his tenure as the longest serving UDC president, he has initiated and developed 2 new PhD programs in 2019, purchased and secured funds to renovate 4250 Connecticut Avenue, to expand the Van Ness campus by 20%, and obtained a $3 million gift for need-based scholarships, the largest gift in the school's history. President Mason worked with me to secure appropriations to both renovate and expand a new community college building and presence at your Fort Totten site, and to purchase and establish the Workforce Development and Lifelong Learning Campus as a partner in Ward 8. He also established the UDC University Partnership Scholarship Program for high-performing graduates, particularly those from DC public schools. He negotiated for the DC government to provide the financial support for cost of living adjustments for union and non-union staff, and developed and implemented the Equity Imperative Strategic Plan to guide the growth of the university. Despite the disruption of the coronavirus pandemic, under President Mason's leadership, UDC maintained a bachelor's level graduation rate of 44%. Last but certainly not least, he worked with me to secure a $1 million earmark for UDC in the fiscal year 2023 appropriations bill to establish the Katherine G. Johnson Math Teacher Training Institute. And now, without further ado, I am pleased to present President Mason with the Faithful Firebird Award.
I didn't know I was going to get this award, but I just happened to have a 20-minute speech in my pocket. But first of all, thank you all sincerely. This was very thoughtful. And let me see if I could tie it together by saying this. We had a speaker who was about health. We had an awardee who was about health. And I really think that understanding the historical role and place of this university in the nation, which really goes back to, as you know, George Washington in 1790, this institution will be more and more in the middle of the conversation about how the nation can find its way to be healthy. Because there's still work to be done, and as the public institution of higher learning in and for the nation's capital, with the kind of faculty we have, the kind of students that we have, and the kind of mission that we have, I think that we will rise to the occasion to help America find itself. Thank you all very much for this award, and I will cherish it forever.
So congratulations, President Mason. So before the choir comes back, the UDC chorale comes back to lead us in the alma mater, and followed by the benediction with Reverend Bowen, a couple of acknowledgments. First and foremost, I want to acknowledge Mrs. Belinda Mason, who is here with us today, and to just simply say thank you for loaning him to us for 8 years. I also want to thank the UDC Chorale. They have stepped up every time for all university events. And I want you to know that we really cherish the voices and your presence. I want to thank the UDC police because without them, we would not be a safe campus. And you don't see them in the room here, but they are patrolling. And so I just want to acknowledge our public safety. I want to also acknowledge our facilities team. There are many events that happen in this space and across the campus, and all too often they are not recognized, but they transform these spaces on campus, and I want to acknowledge our facilities team. I also want to acknowledge auxiliary services. Very few campuses lift the gates for people to come in and not have to pay a thing, right? And those gates are up for everyone to come in and to park and to enjoy these type of communal activities. So thank you to auxiliary services. I want to thank all of the people behind the scenes. One of our newest members, April Hamilton, you saw her assisting with awards on the stage. Really dynamic addition to the team. I want to thank Reverend Bowen for his words on the front end, but as well as the back end. Denise Slaughter for the details. I want to thank the Office of External Relations, Annie Watley, and Lee Bryan Reba, and Will Strong. So everyone who had a hand in the production, we say thank you. We'll now turn it over to the chorale, followed by Reverend Bowen.
To
your praise and love. And now, Firebird Nation, go forth into the world in peace. Be of good courage. There's a bright side somewhere, and don't you dare stop until you find it. Hold that fast which is good. Render to no one evil for evil. Look down upon no one save for the fact to lift them up. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the afflicted. Remember that those of us who love freedom cannot rest until it comes. Honor all people. Love and serve others, especially the most vulnerable. In that name that is above all other names, we pray. Amen.
We are adjourned. There are treats for you in the lobby.